illustrious panel out here. Let's start off with Katie O'Hagan, the voice of Mia Winters. Just in case you didn't know, you need to stay away. Coming next to the stage, Bekka Prewitt, the voice of Bela Dimitrescu. And the motion capture performance of Donna Beneviento, Andi Norris. Come on down. All right, we are spread out here, socially distanced. We're ready to chat.
Hey, everybody!
All right, well, I got to start off this whole time by congratulating everyone involved with Resident Evil Village on 4.5 million units sold. Let's hear what happened worldwide. Imagine that many, discs in a room. That would fill up this whole room. What we're doing. Trapped in the discs. All right, well, I'm going to start with a question that I want to know right away from everyone on the panel. We can go one by one here. Have you played the game solo in the dark with surround sound on?
You think we're crazy?
That is a very specific question.
Yes, I told you it was one specifically that I had.
Andy?
I have played it solo. Well, do you count being on Twitch solo? Because I was alone in the room.
Yeah, just as long as you're alone in the room. Yeah.
And it was in the dark. I had to have a light because otherwise you can't see me on Twitch. But I did not have surround sound. So I got 2 out of 3.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I think Andy's gonna win. She's beat the best rest of us for sure. Solo, yes. I actually wasn't no, I wasn't solo. Actually, I was in the dark. And I don't think I had surround sound, but I had my mod, Adrian Jordan, there because I'm terrible. And whenever I just kept dying and dying and dying. So I'm like, here, get me to the next part. I want to see the rest of the game in this century.
How many times?
Shout out to Adrian.
How many times?
I can't tell. What, killed Bela?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
No. How many times did Bela kill you?
Oh, just the one. She knows who I am. You guys, you have me beat. So I have not actually played Village yet. I'm holding on.
Really?
I am starting with 7. Can we have the gas? I know. I'm sorry. I had to start with 7 first. I got to make sure I understand the story.
Yeah, you still want to jump in.
I don't want to jump in and be confused.
Right.
So I just started 7 in VR, which
VR.
exactly. You go from the gas to the yeah.
That kind of trumps the surround sound in the dark.
Oh yeah. I basically got to the part where I crawl up the stairs and I scared the crap out of myself. And I remember shooting the scene. Very, very specific. Yeah. And I still got there and I knew it was dark. I heard the growling and then and I knew she was coming. And it's still I threw the remote, I fell to the ground, and I haven't played it since. So. Well, in your defense, it has been, games take a while. They 2 years for Village to come out, right? So that was, 4 years ago? For 2017. Yeah. So it's been a while. Yeah. So I'm getting there, and I promise as soon as I get through 7, I'm getting to Village. I'm very, very excited, mainly because of these ladies. Thank you. Yes, the Lords, I'm so excited for the Lords throughout all of Village, so I'm pumped to get to that at some point. I will have the lights on though. anytime you breathe like that, I tell you, it scares us all, no matter what. Right?
That's definitely true.
What'd you say?
I said that's true. And I am also, don't tell Katie this, but when she plays Village, I'm going to sneak up from behind and just scare her when she does it. It's our secret, Kate.
And I think I'll show up with my scythe and just be like behind her.
Wow, that's
and
like
blocking all my doors.
Well, that's way better than surround sound.
Katie, you thought they didn't have Village in VR, but now they do.
So Bekka and Andy, what was the part that scared you the most when you played Village?
Just the ability to not die was scary enough.
There was no way out, is what you're saying?
Seriously, I'm just getting to the next level. Scared me the most. I mean, seeing Mama as a dragon, that was pretty dope. It was scary to me because I know Maggie so well that it was just like, cool. That's awesome. But like the lichens were freaking me out because they just appear all the time out of nowhere, and that was enough to scare me from the very beginning.
Little Jimmy.
Oh
If you don't know who Little Jimmy is, that's my loving nickname for the guard fetus in House Beneviento. Definitely the scariest part. Yeah, when I was playing it and I hid in one of the cabinets in the laboratory, I was just screaming, calm down, Little Jimmy, it's okay, I'll get you pacifier, it's okay.
I think Angie scares me too. I think it's because of Chucky.
Yeah.
Like, Chucky has messed me up for life. And so when Paula does Angie, I'm just like, ooh, it's her again. And that little waddle she does as Angie, her little like side waddle.
What was that again?
Nobody can quite do it like Paula, so you only get to see it once from me.
Okay. Well, everyone cherish that moment you just got.
Recording.
we have evidence.
This is being recorded?
Yeah, I see some cameras out there. So all of you have spent time in front of the camera and behind the scenes. I'd like to know which you prefer. You can start, Bekka.
Okay. That's really hard. I love voiceover. I can go in my high tops and my tank tops and my no makeup and ponytail and totally get away with it. And it's totally fine. Everyone was like, great, she's here. No makeup. Right. One of the only good things about the mask, is you don't have to wear makeup. It's great. But I'm a performance person and I'm a very physically active person. I mean, you're supposed to be active. I should look over here when I say that. But she's really got great. But I love being physical with my work and getting my whole face and body and voice and everything combined into it. So I would definitely say PCAP, performance capture, because it allows me to do a full performance. I love playing with my voice and doing different characters and dialects and just ages but when you can get your whole body, for example, when I did the man's blood, right? I didn't really know what I was going to do until I was actually doing it. I was into it, which I wouldn't have planned. It just kind of, my body just went there, right? So I love being able to kind of emote with my body and be able to take it places, If we're talking about taking your body places, then let's go over here. This creature over here is amazing the way she's sitting.
Goes everywhere that I
You just look. Natasha's sitting in the chair. Would you know if you think to sit in the chair like that?
Embrace something. I heard that it's a generational thing, but I won't get into that. Yeah.
I guess I'm the wrong generation. I guess you're discouraged. You have an hour. I'd still do it. I would end up falling exactly. Or something, and it would not be good.
Okay, so the question, which do we prefer? I primarily work in motion capture. It's been, I do a little bit of film, but my career has mostly gone to motion capture, specifically creature work. But I don't have a preference per se. The one thing I do really like about motion capture is because you don't have lighting setups or makeup or anything like that. It moves very quickly, so you can get a lot done in a day, which is always kind of exciting. You're not sitting for someone changing lights around or set up for another shot. You get to keep the momentum going.
on a set if you don't know. It's like, oh, last looks. Okay, Katie has her hair out of place. Katie still has her hair out of place. Why can't you get that hair out of Katie's face, please? Okay, last look. Oh wait, I think Andy's jacket needs a little bit to the left. Okay, wait, that light's not right. Could you fix the light? No, no, it's different color. No, different color temperature, so it takes long.
Also, I never want to do a movie where Becca's directing now.
Yeah.
I'm worried about my hair being out of place.
I perfectly said Katie's hair. Yeah, I've actually done behind the scenes with production work. First AD, second AD, wardrobe, casting. Definitely prefer the performance aspect, but all of it is just brilliant to be able to be a part of the film work in general and performance work.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of very similar to everybody. On the behind the scenes side, the most that I've really done is more makeup. I have a love for effects makeup, Halloween. That's why this con is.
Woo! Yeah, let's show Halloween, yeah. Don't be shy.
I was like, Halloween is my everything. So
It's all of our everything.
I do love makeup, but that is my second passion because acting is definitely the first. I love being in front of the camera, but the biggest thing is with motion capture. I started acting because of theater.
Okay.
And then I switched and started doing film and television, and then after, I think maybe 9 years in LA is when Resident Evil came to me, and I learned about video games, I learned about motion capture, I learned about voiceover. I knew none of this. I knew none of the world. Resident Evil 7 was the first thing I ever did, and after doing that, it showed such a new side because in my mind, it took my love of theater and my love of film and television, and it melded it into one. So when you're doing performance capture for a video game, when you get lucky enough to be cast as not just the voice, but also the motion capture, the facial capture, where you get to do a little bit of everything, it literally melds every side of acting into like one form. And you get to become such a child because you have to use your imagination so much more when you're doing motion capture because you are on an empty stage with PVC pipes and boxes and tennis balls, and you're being told this is a lichen, this is a ship that's being destroyed. Like you are literally given nothing, and they're just like, okay, go. Have fun.
Which is like so much fun though, because it's like you get to unleash that. You said inner child. Like I started out in theater as well, and it's a great analogy, Katie, because it's probably the closest thing I have to theater, and it takes you to the next level. Because the theater, and what's really cool about performance cap is you can be something totally different than you actually are. Like a lot of times in film or television or commercial work, they typecast you based on your look.
I'm typecast as a monkey.
I get a zombie a lot. What is this? What do you mean typecast?
I don't think this. What's so cool about this is I don't get that, but I can play a fairy. I can play a zombie or a monkey now. I can play a witch or warlock. I can play, I can play a vampire. I can play, a giraffe. I can play literally.
What does a giraffe sound like?
Wait,
What does a giraffe sound like?
Who's got fan art? I want fan art of Becka as a giraffe.
Yes.
Oh, no, here it is.
There it is. Nice and long.
All right,
Just
I did this down here because you don't ignore the little wet stains. I'm not
yeah,
On here first, I did not leak into my bottle.
She's like, turn off the cameras. Turn it off.
I won't turn around because that would be just too much for your enjoyment. Oh, but now the whole chair is wet. Okay.
It's all part of the show, folks. All part of the show.
So what's really great is that we can play roles that we normally wouldn't play based on our look. Oh, you can't play that because you look like this.
Right.
But now we can play whatever. Just because the world of make-believe, the world of CG, is wonderful.
Well, that kind of ties into another question I had is when you do the motion capture work or you're in a sound booth, it's a pretty non-creepy environment.
Until you bring us in.
Until you hear that voice of Katie's.
And then, until she shows up, and then it gets creepy. No, but when you're playing the games, the environments themselves are so just disturbing, creepy. It's like, how do you guys get in the zone for doing those performances that are gotta be in a creepy environment when they're done.
I mean, I know for me, I can only talk about RE. Those are the only games that I have done thus far. And so with those, what's nice is, yes, you're on that stage that's pretty blank, and you're given these general things to let you know where you can move, where the scene takes place, where the couch is, like all that kind of stuff. But a lot of times they do give you a heads up. They'll either have artwork, or they'll have sketches, or they will have a little bit of the world that they will bring up like on a screen, so you can kind of get an idea of how dark or dingy, or you know, if there's mold or goo, or like what you're kind of going through. So you have a general idea.
Right.
But then at the same time, there are many scenes I shot without knowing that, and then when the game came out, I was like, oh.
You're like, oh, I'm there, huh?
No wonder they were like, so just lay on the ground and act like you're puking up mold. You know how to do that, right? So you kind of get an idea. When they hand you a chainsaw and say, you're going to chop your husband's hand off. So I believe she brings out like everywhere she goes now. Ethan says, hi, everyone.
It's like Thing from the
No, but I know that was my experience with that. I would get some little things, but just within the script, reading what the scene is, your mind just goes there. Wait, you're seeing the darkness.
Script? I didn't get the script.
Okay, mine had scenes. Okay, better. You never actually got the whole script.
Ever, at any point in time. Like,
Really?
the table read, literally it was, we showed up and we had vanilla envelopes, and they were just our scenes. So say I'm on page 23 is my first page. I don't have page 1 through 22. So people are talking, I'm like, I wonder who she is. I wonder what her name is. Who's that? And then like, stop talking, no one's talking. Oh, was it my turn? Like, as you,
Oh, wait, you see now?
I didn't know I was a vampire. I thought it was a witch. When I was cast, I was told I was the lead witch. I'm like, witch. Okay, cool. And then I'm like, man blood. That sounds like a vampire. Oh, vampire! Really, I did not know.
More or less what they both said. You know, you do get usually some indication of what the world looks like, what the art looks like. You kind of get a tone for it. I didn't do this on Resident Evil, but on other games I've worked on, we've used music. Like I'll bring in
that's cool.
like scores from similar games if I have an idea of what it looks like, so that I can kind of stay. Because often, and again, this didn't happen with me on Resident Evil, but often you are like the only person on set too. So that
I had a lot of scenes where it was just
I'm like, that's trippy. Because for like both games, it was. I was only with one other person because of COVID. Before COVID, like every time we shot stuff, it was like lots of people.
Yeah,
It's so nice.
I think with Resident Evil, that's the most people I've ever had on set at the same time working on a game.
Yeah, I had Todd and my sisters and mother for the iconic beginning scene, but
Right.
everything else I shot, Todd wasn't there for, so it was just me acting to a wall.
Thanks, COVID.
I actually before COVID.
Oh, geez.
That was just, you know, like the injuries, right? Imagination. Yeah, sure. I see Todd there.
I was gonna say probably the craziest thing that came out of 8, and because of COVID and the pandemic, was I did not meet these ladies until after the game was completed and out. There were many of the actors who we just either didn't have scenes with each other, or because of COVID, they really started restricting things. So when we were finally able to shoot, it became, okay, just you two. So they really separated things. So it wasn't until literally the release of the game, I finally got to meet my cast.
Wow.
I think Andy and I met, is it the callback or the actual first audition?
We met in the callback.
Yeah. So I'm like, she seems cool. What's your name?
Because we auditioned for the sisters together.
Yeah. So it was definitely fun. Like, and the fact that bravo to casting on Resident Evil Village, because the whole cast is phenomenal and we all get along really well. And I know many of you have seen us online and we actually are friends and we do like hanging out. And most of us
And Katie did drag me to Shark Week.
Shark Week!
Yeah, usually that kind of camaraderie is built on set.
Yeah, it's also like theater, honestly. Like that's the best community I've had until RE.
So it's been a really cool experience in that aspect of all these new actors and new friends that I've met and who I technically didn't even work with.
We're kind of working together now.
Now we are. Now it's great. Right.
Cool. All right, so back to Village. What was a favorite scene to do? I'll start with Katie.
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
It's really tough. Mia's very different in 8, which was kind of cool. In 7, she's got that crazy, normal, possessed thing going on. And in 8, she becomes very motherly. Very much so meant for family, and that's all she really cares about. So I was very excited to show that side of her. And honestly, I only got the first scene. When they told me she was alive and coming back, they sent me the first scene.
Okay.
That
the
scene,
first scene of the game?
The first scene of the game. That scene, that was in the trailer. She gets blown to bits.
Yeah.
I did not know that I was not blown to bits.
Really?
I came to work that day and was kind of bummed. I was excited and I was talking to Todd and I was like, oh, I'm so happy Mia's back, but I'm really sad that they're killing her off right away. And he looked at me and goes, oh, you don't know. I was like, what don't I know? Wait a minute. And he's just like, that's not you. Oh, spoiler. Hold your ears.
Spoiler alert.
If you haven't played Village, sorry. So he was like, yeah, that's not you. And my face just dropped. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I missed the table read. So I did not know that Mia was actually going to come back. So ultimately, I didn't realize what would become my favorite scene was actually when Chris finds Mia trapped and finds the real Mia. I love shooting that scene because there was something about the vulnerability of it. You don't usually get to see that side of Mia, and you got to see this very vulnerable, and she also, the love of her family and the anger towards Chris and BSAA for saying they would protect them and they didn't.
Right.
So being able to act like that with a big dude, anytime you work with a big dude, you get to like just yell at him and push him, and it's always fun. It's always fun. So that was, I really, really liked doing that scene. It was just such a different side of her. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Becca?
Nailing Todd with my scythe. Turns out I really like weapons, apparently. As Becca likes weapons, apparently. It was fun. Todd's a sweetheart. He's an absolute sweetheart. And such a good sport. I mean, we put him through so much, right? Trying to his forehead, his hands, all the time.
I feel like Todd put me through a lot.
That's true. I'm like, Donna needs some redemption.
My house and killed me. I didn't do anything.
I know. It's a beautiful
Justice for Donna.
It was fun for me to do the big reveal where we all, show up giggling and laughing and, at Ethan, and then being able to go after him and side him and pull him into me. It was fun to choreograph that with him because he was actually on kind of a little platform with little wheels on the bottom, and so because I actually had to hit him, so you have to hook my scythe through a loop, make it into the loop, which was right here.
Oh boy.
Every man here just kind of went, what?
Oh boy.
And then hook it, and then yank it back, and then drag him, right? And so I was actually dragging him, and he's a little bit bigger than me, so we put him on that board with wheels so I could actually do it. That was just fun. It was fun. We had trouble with the scythe, because the first scythe they brought, if you've heard interviews, you might have heard this before, they brought the scythe that was foamed. It was like, Nerf foamed, it was like wiggly. So I was like, like this looks terrible. I'm amazed it's not scary. So they brought another one that was kind of like, it was stiffer, but not great. So the last one was plastic, hard plastic. And so it was allowed me to actually hook him. But you're doing a lot, so eventually I did hit him. I was like, So he was great. I kept going, acting like I purposely did it. I was like, oh my God, your skills. Oh, keep going. And that's a good point to take at you, is when I actually hit him. He was like wincing in pain. I just kept that, and after all, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was like, it's okay. He's like, don't worry, I already had my kids, I guess. Don't worry, But it was just fun. It was fun working with him. He's such a pro and so sweet, and had the grace, as I was messing up with him when I hit him, and it's fun. Honestly, it's fun to play villains. I get cast, I guess, as both sides, and I think I'm a decently nice person, so it's fun to not be nice sometimes and not get in trouble for it. I don't know. I think I can say this about myself, and I'm guessing it might be true about the two of you. Some roles are what my coach used to call in our wheelhouse, that you can naturally go into, and some require a lot of time and training and research and what goes behind that, and for every character I do, I create a backstory, regardless if it comes naturally to me or not. To try to figure out who that person is and make her tangible and real and have a connection to her. But some roles that are in our wheelhouse are just easier to go into, and I feel like crazy is easy for you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I would say my husband would probably agree with that.
And crazy. Yeah. And I feel like with you, just every form of monkey. I was gonna say any kind of animals, animal, monster, creature that your body naturally goes into it. In the same way with kind of bad heroes, vixen villains. For me, it's something I can naturally go into, and it was just fun to be able to play with that and not being arrested for it.
Isn't that what we're all here to do? Just to do crazy things and not get arrested for it.
What about you, Andy?
I think my favorite scene was the scene with all of the lords, because I was super fortunate. I mostly just sat in a chair and got to watch everyone else work, and that was I think the first scene that we all shot. It was definitely the first scene I shot, but I think it was the first scene that everybody shot. And just watching the interactions, and everybody's playing, and it's everybody's new to each other, and Paula's wiggle, that was a really fun scene.
Don't underscore your sitting still, because that's hard.
That was very hard for me. That was extremely hard. I don't know if you've seen me, but sitting still was a very hard challenge.
And sitting still like a nice, proper lady.
I know.
Clearly that doesn't come naturally. I'm going to cut you off. What were you going to say about this?
Oh, and I was going to say I did a day of stunts and lighting work, and that was awesome too.
Woo!
I was very jealous when I heard you guys would be a Lycan. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, so you get to be a Lycan and just go crazy and attack and eat people and destroy them. And did you get to eat Ethan's fingers, or was that me?
That was not me.
Ah, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe next time you need some fingers.
Shucks.
I look forward to the day.
And keeping Ethan close to me. Leave his fingers alone.
So switching gears a little bit, I want to talk
I
about.
love that, James. I
I
love
don't know how
that.
to segue on eating fingers, or maybe this does segue. So I want to know about what your connection to the horror genre is, what your favorite horror films are, and horror experiences, and all that kind of stuff, and how you brought that to these roles.
My parents were haunted porches.
That's so great.
The kids in the neighborhood knew if you were coming to our house to get to the candy, you had to go through the haunted porch.
Oh, you had to
just
earn it,
deal
huh?
with it. You had to earn that candy. And we were all
I really want it.
yeah. Had to make our own costumes and things. So that's
that's
how
great.
I started, was making my own costumes, doing my own makeup, and that because of that, creating characters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I really fell in love with the idea of zombies and possessed, and I never really got the chance to play those type of characters. So when the audition for this came around, I was really excited, and I just got to pull in all these horror, The Exorcist, of course. I mean, you can't tell me you look at possessed me and don't think of spinning heads and puking peas. She's a bit much. So for me in particular, definitely The Exorcist, but for me, growing up, I mean, I'm all about the classics. I appreciate the new ones and what they try to do.
Sure.
I am all about the classics. I love Friday the 13th. I'm from Crystal Lake. I heard a woo. Yeah!
All right, let's hear it.
So I'm from Crystal Lake, so I hold up very proud. I love my Jason Voorhees. Freddie terrified my dreams for years. Chucky made me apologize to my dolls for years for not sleeping in the bed with me.
I was like, what were you doing with your dolls?
Oh my god, it's so okay. So I was way too young and somehow saw Child's Play. I feel like this happens to everybody.
Cable TV, you know,
exactly.
Yep.
They just put that on there and they don't hide things, they show it all. So of course, I'm way too young, I'm terrified of dolls now, and I have tons of dolls and stuffed animals. And of course I was afraid they were all going to murder me if I wasn't nice to them. So I would rotate them in my bed as a child, and I'd have them in my bed with me. And the ones that were in the closet, I would apologize to and let them know that tomorrow night they'd be in the bed. So I'd rotate them so none of them would kill me.
Well, you learned a lot of manners from bars.
I really did. You know, be polite and maybe you won't get killed. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's not a promise, that's just a suggestion.
Just a suggestion. It's not a rule of horror.
No.
Definitely not.
All right, well, then over to Andi.
Oh boy. Okay, so I did not grow up in the horror genre. I am like the exact opposite of Katie here. Ernest Scared Stupid gave me nightmares.
Wow, nice. Shout out to Ernest Scared Stupid. Let's hear it. Yeah, I think you're on scratch. Okay.
So I actively avoided horror for a very long time because of that, and was just terrified. I have an overactive imagination. I believe the trailer for Haunted Hill, I think, also gave me nightmares. The trailer, and I couldn't sleep for 3 nights. But then I started doing creature work, and you know, if you don't know the genre, like what are you gonna do, right? So I started watching horror with the sound off.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
So then I would rewatch them with the sound on, being like, okay, I know what the jump scare is now. I did. And now I just love it. Now I'm in. I'm totally in.
What would you say, now that you're in, is your favorite?
I'm a really big fan of the psychological horror. So, you know, I really loved Mother. And, I like The Conjuring too. I love the original Dracula. Kind of old school.
No, I'm with you there.
Wait, like Keanu Reeves old school? Bram Stoker's Dracula? Come on, Keanu fans. Classic.
It's definitely classic.
Nice. You're talking super old.
Yeah, I'm talking classic.
Yeah, when you say classic, I didn't know the word classic. Everyone has their own definition of classic, for sure.
Well, I feel like because Bela Lugosi was so iconic, that watching Dracula after the iconicness, that's probably not has already been established, to be like, oh, that's where that came from, and oh wow, this was all fresh and new for him, you know? Like these images and these poses were authentic and the first time for him, and now they're used like everywhere. That was really cool.
He created part of the genre, really.
Yeah, and the same feeling about Psycho. It was awesome. Yeah, this was new.
That's
You
interesting.
invented this.
That's an interesting point, because a lot of us grew up watching the imitations of Bela Lugosi in all those classic performances, and then when you actually go back and watch it, I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
This is where this started,
Right.
with the mannerisms and the accents and all that kind of fun stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Bekka.
See, James, when I heard you make that statement, what I heard was, when were you first scarred in your life? I remember well.
I'm glad you could read through the lines.
Yeah, right. I remember well. I was 3rd grade. But I was remind me, because I would say what my favorite is in a minute, because it goes along your lines. Okay, so 3rd grade, girls' slumber party. And, third grade, and I was a little young for my age, I think, as well. I was like a year younger. And it was a sleepover, right? So we were watching movies, and I don't know why the parents would allow this, but Exorcist was the movie.
It's a movie for all the kids.
That'll scar you. Literally, all these little girls, and they're in like onesie pajamas, a little matching pink and white sets, and all this stuff. And I'm literally, it starts getting crazy up in there, and they're all running around, start screaming, and this is me. The whole time. They left the room. This is me. The whole time.
I was waiting for you to do a 360 with me. Got some plan that you know that?
I was mesmerized, but terrified, and I was horrified. I didn't know what was going on. And so I just didn't move. I was like, it's so immersed in it, but like, not okay either. And 3rd grade. And so, like, watch the thing, and they took off. I mean, I was the only one alone in that room, which is even scarier. So afterward, I called my mom. This is like 11, 12 o'clock at night. Like, Mom, so what happens when a girl puts a cross up in her, and like, with a head goes, and she's like, what are you watching?
Struck my shirt on a really special episode, huh?
I was like, let me talk to her mother right now. I'm like, Mrs. Thompson, you ratted your friends out? I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't think it was her parents let me, so I was like intrigued. I was like, what does this mean, and why did she do that? And she was like, was a priest there? And like, tell me about this,
This just goes to show how nice of a kid you must have been. That definitely would not have been my reaction. It's like, oh, we're getting away with something. Like, ha!
You can see that me and I's children. She'd like, come to the dark side, Becca, come to the dark side. But my
We'll
mom,
get you. We'll get you.
Look at you. They were already there. Yeah, I've been with you for days. But as a kid, because my mom would watch American Classics, and so Papa, my grandfather, would watch Westerns, and so I had a unique upbringing of film and television. So Hitchcock, to me, speaks. That's just my go-to. I mean, I love everything from, everything you've mentioned, but like everything from like Sounds of Lambs to like psychological, and like even Quiet Place has like kind of a horror thriller element to it. Be careful, it might leak.
Sure, it went on the ground.
I trusted mine repeatedly, it just kept going. But Hitchcock, like I also saw Birds and Psycho when I was a kid. So Psycho is probably still gonna always be my all-time favorite, but man, I still don't like birds. Like I was a little child. I was probably like, 5, 6, 7 years old, and every now and then I still see a bird, and I'd be like, oh no, it's yeah.
There's something about these little creatures that, coming in from above, you can't escape them.
Yeah, they poke at your eyes and you're blind. It's not really cool. Yeah, but I just think there's power in his black and white cinematography, and there's just like this eeriness to it. It's like an understated eeriness. It doesn't have to be like bold and in your face. It's that creepy essence that's right there behind you, that you can feel it coming, and all of a sudden you have no sight because you're hooked out like this.
I'm not joining in on this.
I was like, we have all three. I feel like that's all like just right here, ready to go at all times. It's like right up in the corner of your mind, ready to.
So at the end, we're all surround you.
You said you wanted surround sound.
Yes.
It's really big ad.
Oh boy. So we're here at Awaken the Spirits, Midsummer Scream, and a big part of what's covered here is haunted attractions. So I gotta ask about haunted attractions. Are you guys into going to check those out? And what's some of your favorites that you've done?
I'll let you guys go. Would you like to start, Andy?
Do you mean like haunted attractions here or in general?
What was it? What?
Do you mean like haunted attractions here or
Oh, in general, anyway. I didn't put you on the spot.
Actually, I would say I really enjoyed the Los Angeles Haunted Hayride.
Yeah, let's hear it. The hayride.
That's partially because 2 years ago I worked it, and if anybody was there to
Yeah, I love my hometown, Cincinnati area, and I grew up like north of there, so there's a lot of like hayride type corn maze options, and so haunted corn mazes are pretty dope. But they're hard to get out of in the dark, I've learned, and so I've actually been lost in them for hours before.
Well, that sounds like a nightmare.
That's why you're scared the whole time.
That's why you bring a friend and you go on each other's shoulders, like,
Okay, come down. We all don't have a husband who's 7 feet tall.
Justin, you're gonna be my buddy.
Right?
just pimping him out for haunted mazes.
Rent him out, you know what I mean?
Rent him out.
Very lucrative business. A little side hustle there for you.
I'm from Crystal Lake, so a little town outside Chicago in Illinois, so the Midwest, I mean, great. Like, the Midwest, there's something about it, they just know how to do haunted houses, haunted mazes, like all of it. I do remember moving out to LA and going to a couple of haunted houses and like the Universal haunted, and they were fun, but I wasn't as scared. And I was trying to figure out why, and I realized, I think part of it is when I was younger, you could get away with a lot more in haunted houses. So I grew up
in your local ones, huh?
Yeah, like I grew up going to haunted houses that they could separate you. It was pitch black. The floor moved. People grabbed you. People moved. Like you thought your friend was still holding you. You get to a room and realize that is not your friend behind you. So I grew up with these things that just scared the crap out of me. And then coming here, like most of the ones I see, and I feel like they can't really touch you anymore, and the lights can't be as dark. They have to have sunlight so you don't hurt yourself. So I think that's a little bit of the difference that I found with haunted houses, at least.
Well, Katie, I got some great news for you.
What?
All of those kind of haunts do exist in Los Angeles.
Oh, really? Good. Like, I've only been to a few.
Well, I'm with you, Katie.
So-
Because I like USS Nightmare, for example. The one here, it was cool.
Yeah.
But it's like the same thing. It's like it's not the
I
as a
want
mask
that
or
scary dark. Now, I don't want
Apparently
somebody...
James has the hookup.
I know, I gotta get this list. I'm coming to you for a list for this
We'll have a
Halloween.
line after, we'll sign prints after, and James will be the information booth after. Just come to one or the other.
Yeah, I'll let you know about all extreme haunts.
We'll have you helping us.
I'm not going, but I'll tell you guys where to go. So I think that Resident Evil Village would be an amazing maze at Halloween Horror Nights. I'm just putting that out there in the universe.
I have heard that from people, and I'm like,
Capcom gods, listen to us. This is what we'd like.
I would like that, and I would also like a Resident Evil Lego game.
oh, that
That'd be sweet. Well, there has been precedent because in Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, 2013, they had a Resident Evil maze there. It was Escape from Raccoon City. So I don't know who you guys have to talk to.
I think it's you guys. I know,
Well,
I think you
yes.
all need to have powers you don't have. Just at Capcom USA.
Let's start a Twitter. I'll take names at this information booth after I give you extreme haunt discussion. All right. We three have been interfacing interfacing with a lot of fans this weekend, and also been live streams, and you're very active with the fans. So I'm curious, some memorable fan interactions, reactions to the game that come to mind. You can start, David.
Yeah, oh God, all of it. I just, again, want to thank everyone. Everybody here, everybody online, the Ari fan base. I call it the Ari family. Everybody is in the Ari family. It is incredible. It's the greatest group. This is the first thing like this I've ever done, so it was very new to me. And how welcoming everyone is, how nice and kind to each other, to us. It's been absolutely incredible. But legit, when the game first came out, I think I had just started a Twitter, and somebody had posted something very nice just about the character of Mia. And my husband was driving, and he looked over and he's like, "Are you okay?" Because I was legit getting teary-eyed.
Oh, wow.
Because I just had never
received something for something like I had done and worked on, and the whole reason I got into acting was to give to other people. The whole idea of acting to me was that I want to give something where if people want to step away from their lives for an hour, for 2 hours, for 15 minutes, I want to help them do that. I know the world's crazy, life can be insane.
Sure.
And to be able to be a part of creating something where people go, I'm choosing, like, I just want to enjoy something. I want to do this. I want to step away.
Yeah, I just want to check out for a few
Yes,
minutes. Yeah.
and to be able to do that. And this was the first thing I've ever done that I actually really got to see that people are doing that. People thanking us, saying they were having a hard time in life, and the game helped them through it, the different characters, us talking online to them. So the fact that everybody's been so open with us and makes us comfortable being open with them has just been beyond inspiring, and I've just been so grateful for all of it. So thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it. Yourself. Your support. It's awesome.
I actually got into acting for a similar reason. And that is kind of, the dream is to be able to reach people. To reach people on a level that my mere words cannot. Like when I talk, as Bekka, people may listen, my friends may listen, my family may listen, but when I'm communicating in a video game or a film or a TV show, people connect a story. So the words I'm saying by the writers are more compelling because they've had this whole backlog of characters and themes, and they've pulled you in with the content, and so it communicates on a deeper narrative, a deeper level. So to make someone laugh, cry, jump, giggle, feel challenged by the message, make them think about someone or themselves in a different way, open somebody up to something, or challenge thought and make them grow and learn, or just burst out laughing and have a break from life. And bring joy back into their heart. Whatever that is, to connect with somebody on that level is a way to bring heart, life, joy, and spirit to them. So that's what we love to do as actors. And what is it? We all knew Resident Evil, we got cast, we're like, yeah. Actually, we didn't even know at the table what we had originally. We're like, what game this is? We really didn't know still. But once you figured out it was Resident Evil, we're like, whoa, this is amazing, this is so dope, this is Resident Evil. And we knew people would be a fan of it. We had no idea it'd be the top grossing game in a 25-year history. And we had no idea the fandom would love like this, and the game would sell so well, or how amazing you would be. I think we all have a fan base. Is it Donna's dolls? And then you have the villagers.
Oh, you have an individual fan club.
Yeah.
And I have Bela's little ones. Because one of my lines is right up.
So the fan club is here, all right?
Right. So one of the lines is, where are you going, little one? So they're the little ones, Bela's little ones, right? And so we do signings on streamily.com. We do signings. You'll have prints that we sell, and so people have joined us on our chats, on our streams, and so they will write in the most amazing things. And I've talked with people, got them signing a print, and all of a sudden so-and-so's writing, and I'm like, okay, drop in a pen. What? Somebody has, I have cancer, I'm getting tested again tomorrow, I was in remission, and I'm getting tested, can you pray for me? I'm like, yeah, I'm totally gonna pray for you. And I actually have prayed on the stream before. I've had people say, oh, my dad just died, and so I stop and start talking to that person. I've had so many people say I'm going through major depression, I've had suicidal thoughts. So it's just been amazing, the openness of the community and how real and authentic people are being, and how much it's touched me that they're allowing us into their lives. And so for us to be able to speak into your lives and talk to you and be a community with you, it's like the family you refer to. That moves me to no end. And you guys have been so brilliant to us. So loving, so generous. It was a mind blow to be able to be in the game. And then you guys took it way to another level. It's this has absolutely been the biggest career achievement of my life, and you guys have made it the most beautiful career achievement of my life. So we just want to thank you for how loving and generous you've been to us, because it's been amazing and incredible. We love you all so much.
Yeah.
I gotta go after that.
You got this, you got this.
Very, very similarly, did not expect anything from this. I've worked on quite a few games, but nothing like Resident Evil, and never in a position where you would ever know that I worked on it. So this has been quite an experience to be a part of this family, and and I couldn't understand. So my voiceover coach, when I was talking to her about it, I was like, I don't know what's happening. All of these people know me now, and I don't know what's happening. And she said to me, she goes, isn't it funny how you never know the character until the game comes out? And I was like, what? And I realized that, again, as myself, I only have so much that I can do, right? But on the platform of this game, and after communicating with all of you, and and hearing about the depression and the anxiety, and knowing that those are things that I have dealt with my whole life as well, I'm now in a position to do something that's more active, and that has been huge for me to be able to say, like, I want to help raise money for this. I want to I want to reach out to all of these people, because the messages that I'm getting are, there's a lot, and I just love, this has been such an incredible experience to be with all of you, and I love you all. And also, I would never have gotten through the game without my fans telling me where to go.
I think this all speaks to the fact that horror, and the many ways that we can take it in, films, haunts, video games, is a place for a lot of people to deal with their own inner struggles and challenges, and I think the reaction that you all spoke about really proves that point. Well, that is about it for us. I feel like we're just getting started here. But I do want to mention, you can come meet our illustrious panel at their booth, and they have an exclusive print just for this event. The three of them on there. So come by and chat with them and get that exclusive print. So let's just hear a big round of applause for our incredible performers.
Midsummer screen.
Oh, yes.
We love it. This has been a blast, and I can't wait to go buy more merch.
We're actually spending, I think, everything we've made. Oh,
yeah. That's the only problem with doing stuff like this. You're like, oh, yay, I made some money. Now I'm going to go spend it over on that. So, we feel you.
Helps the spooky economy.
I love it. It's family.
All right. Thank you, everyone.